Scrolling Facebook Marketplace can sometimes feel like you're digging through a junk pile, but hidden in all those outdated, beat-up pieces can be some real gold mine opportunities. I flipped some of the ugliest, cheapest finds into gorgeous, high-dollar pieces, and today I'm going to share my top 6 tips so you can do the same. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome back into the channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Kara, and what I do here is find old pieces of furniture, usually at estate sales, that I pick up for really cheap prices. I bring them home, I flip them into modern styles, and I sell them for top dollar in my Dallas area. So today is no different. We are starting off with this Dixie dress. I am going to give you some really quick tips on what I look for and use to flip furniture that makes me the biggest profits. You don't want to miss this one. Wait till you see what this is going to look like. Seriously, let's get going. The first thing I look for on a piece is if it has really good bones. If it has a bunch of stuff that's broken that I don't know how to fix, I will not normally pick it up, because that just means more in expenses for me and more things that I need to take time to fix. And time is money, baby. So that's the number one thing I'm looking for, is just good bones, a good design concept on that piece of furniture, and then it doesn't have a lot of repairs that are really going to hold me back from making money. Now, before I can do anything else, I've got to make sure that this is really, really clean. This has been a well-loved dresser, I can tell. So I'm going to use some simple green to make sure that I get off all of the furniture polish, all of the grease and grime. Is a massive step that you cannot skip. Now I'll get this up on rollers so that I can fix a bunch of the problems that are on the bottoms. I'm going to be using some quick wood epoxy putty to do all my little fixes on the bottom. This is just an epoxy stick that you cut off as much as you need. You push the two parts together and then quickly go over all the fixes that you need, because it will dry pretty quick, but this should hold very well. All right, while that step finishes setting up, today's sponsor is one of my favorite things, AG1. I've been drinking AG1 for 3 months now, and honestly, it's a non-negotiable for my daily routine. I mix it up first thing in the morning, and it sets the tone for my whole day. My digestion's improved, my bloating is way down, and the biggest change, my energy. Between flipping furniture, homeschooling, and just keeping up with life, I don't have time to feel sluggish. AG1 gives me energy without the extra coffee or the nap. It's packed with over 75 vitamins and minerals, plus pre and probiotics. And the taste of it is so good. I love the new tropical flavor with hints of papaya. It is my favorite, and it's so smooth and refreshing. So if you're ready to boost your energy and cover your nutritional bases, give AG1 a try. Head to my link or scan the QR code and get a free welcome kit, including a bottle of vitamin D and free AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. Trust me, you're gonna love this. Thanks AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the flip. To create the look that I'm going for on this one, I'm going to be using something really inexpensive, and that is acetone. Acetone is going to take off some of this orange coloring, so I have just a better base to start with, so I can get that more on-trend look that I'm going to design on this dresser. My issue here is that even though this looks like it's a solid piece of wood, it's not. This is actually a piece of edge banding that's on here, and there's an edge banding on this side, and then this is just a really thin piece with particle board underneath. So I'm gonna have to be really careful using that acetone that I don't burn through this thin veneer that's on the top, because I'm not working with real wood. And same thing goes for the sides. Everybody's so surprised on some of these older dressers that they're not solid wood, but you can see from here, this is just all particle board that I'm working with today. I am out here burning daylight trying to get the last bit of this done. So on the sides, I already know, according to Pinterest, that I'm going to go with one of those half and half styles. So I am just taking this line of acetone to a little bit under that first drawer in the front. So it should give me a good nice line when I get ready to tape this off for the next part. I am rolling into day number 2, and I am already halfway done with this project. I came out last night and just sanded the top a little bit to take off any of the leftover like sludge that was left from the acetone. And then this morning, I'm going to take the sander to these top drawers to really solidify that Pinterest look that I'm going for. So I'll just finish taking off a little bit of the finish that's left on these, and then we can go to the next step. And we're going to get this thing painted today. I'm using my Surf Prep 3x4" Ray sander on the drawers, and it's got this squishy foam abrasive on it, which if you saw the drawers, they've got all these rounded details on them. So I want to make sure that I am careful around those and don't sand them flat, which is where this is really going to come in handy. Creating this Pinterest-inspired half and half dresser is not nearly as difficult as it seems. What you'll need to do that is a laser light so you can make sure that the line on the side is absolutely perfect. And I like to use my yardstick as well to just trace where I'm going to draw that line. So figuring out where to place the line is actually really easy. You go off of the top drawer here and you just follow that edge around. So that's exactly where I'm going to put my laser and then just draw the line so that it is perfectly straight. Now that we know where our line is going to be, I'm going to take some of my tape and just go along the front exactly where I want to be protected from the paint. So this part that we just spent all this time using the acetone on, I don't want to risk getting any paint on this. So this part is going to be taped off and covered with some plastic. Stopped at Sherwin-Williams yesterday and got a fresh can of their shellac pigmented primer. So I want to make sure that I don't have any bleed through issues. So I'm definitely going to be priming this one. We'll get it loaded into our gravity fed HVLP sprayer. And I lost my little pour spout. I don't know where it is, which means I'm going to make a mess. That did not go as planned. I'm going to spray the primer with the doors on for this one because I've talked about this in previous videos, but everybody always asks. When they lay flat like this inside of the body of the dresser, you can spray with the drawers inside. There's no overlap, so there's no part of this dresser that I'm going to miss by putting the drawers in. And then it's really easy just to pop these out and go over the top of them with an artist brush. And you can even get the sides of these with them just pulled out just a little bit. And that saves you from having to tape up all of your drawers. Another one of my tips if you're going to sell furniture is just watch the colors that you're picking out. You want to make sure that they are neutral, that they go in most people's homes. Bright colors are super fun and you can do them for your own pieces, but I have a harder time selling really bright colors. They'll get a lot of clicks, but it takes a certain person to buy those colors. So for today's project, I'm going with the color Balanced Beige by Sherwin-Williams. It's in their Emerald Trim collection, and it's just a really nice neutral beige. They're predicting that for 2026, their color of the year is going to be a khaki color. So this is right along those lines. I didn't want to go out and buy another can of paint because I already have this one, and this should do the trick. To make my paint wash for today to put on the top of this, because I would need to get some of that yellow that's on there off of there. I don't want it to be that yellow. That is not what we're going for. So I've got some measuring cups that have measurements on the side. I like to use the 3-in-1. So I'll do 1 part paint to 3 parts water, and that usually gives me the right mix I need to do a light paint wash. So what a paint wash does is just create a really light sort of stain. So you're going to use a misting bottle first to just mist over the top, and it stops that paint from drying really quickly. So that is something you definitely want to have. Then I've got some lint-free rags to wipe this back. And then of course I've got a 2-inch zebra brush. I like this one because it's angled and it has just a ton of bristles. So it holds a lot of the paint wash in it. You can get these at Lowe's, but I'm also going to link them in the video description below. My last quick tip is to make sure that you seal your projects really well. Today I'm going to be using Minwax polyacrylic. I like this in the matte finish. You can also get it in satin if you'd prefer. I'm just mixing up what would be left in the bottom of this can. You don't want to shake it because then it gets really bubbly and that's not going to be best. So I'll either apply this on with a brush or a sponge, and then make sure you follow all the directions that are on the can. Like for instance, this says 2 hours in between coats, and you want to do a light sand in between each coat for 3 coats maximum. So I'll grab my top coat brush and we'll start getting this on. Well, are you all loving today's flip? This was actually really fast 2-day flip for me. And as you know, if you flip furniture or you've done any of this kind of DIY stuff, the main thing is the dry time. So that takes up a majority of the time. So it could probably be flipped in 24 hours if you didn't have to wait in between all of the stages. So this was a really great flip, and it's going to be a nice profit. I'll sell this one for about $900 in my area, which is pretty good because my costs were really low on this one. Let's recap our quick, fun tips to turn your Facebook Marketplace treasures into something really awesome. Number one, you want to make sure you find something that has really good bones. So that means no broken pieces, nothing that's going to cost you a ton of money to fix up or take extra time out of your hourly wage. Next, you want to make sure that you give it a really good deep clean, that you're using some sort of degreaser. I love to use Simple Green because you've got to get all of that old furniture polish off before you can start flipping it. Next, if you're wanting to strip it down to bare wood, which is so popular these days, one of the easiest ways to do that is to use acetone. Well, you've got to be really careful with it though. Make sure you are in a well-ventilated area. You have all of your PPE on. I double up my gloves. I'm in the garage with the garage door open. It is some scary stuff to handle, but it works really, really quick. If you are looking for something else that's a little more non-toxic, I've linked my other favorite in the comment section down below. If you're making any kind of design or you're doing a two-tone look, you want to make sure that you have got some really good painter's tape. My favorite is the frog tape. It's green, it's crisp, clean line every single time. Next, you want to make sure that you use a neutral color. Neutral colors are going to sell well for you every time. Don't go bold unless it's something for your own home or a custom order. You're going to sit on it for a little bit longer than you want to. So neutrals that sell really hot right now are, of course, black and tan colors. I kind of stay away from white. They're not big. White is not a big seller for me these days, but black and a neutral tan does well every time. And last but certainly not least is you want to make sure you have a really good poly top coat so the piece is going to last yourself or whoever buys it for a really long time. Don't skip that step and definitely follow the can direction as far as how many coats you need to apply and how long your cure time is. That's really going to make a difference. I have linked my other favorite dresser flip that I've done recently to this video, so be sure to check that out if you want some more inspiration on what you can do when you're flipping furniture. You'll find plenty of it there. Be sure you subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you back here next time. My next flip is already on its way in, so I'll see you really soon as we continue to turn more lemons into lemonade.